at the end of the journey. So thank you so much. And what I would like to do is just to cover a little bit of the background. In some ways, I'm still working this journey out on many, many different levels. One of my teachers said, you're about to embark on a journey of no sense. Get used to it. And many times during the course of the journeys around the world to the many places that we've been, there were times I would wake up at night and thinking, boy, you're crazy, what are you doing? You're going to sell another house? Because we did. Spirit allowed us a huge amount of money at one stage. One house, after the next, after the next, after the next, after the next, and they all went up in value. Every single one of them. And we said, I looked at Phoebe and I said, "Hun, you know what? We can sit back and we can retire. We can take the rest of our lives off." And that wasn't what those houses were for. It's not what they were for. They were fuel for the journey. So one by one, we begin to let them go. So that we could continue and we could go to these places. And still the logical mind would scream at me at night, what are you doing? You're selling another house? Why? It's crazy, you could retire. So many, many years ago, I held this stick. I got to meet Barry and Kushla for the first time. And seeing it again was such a blessing. I was obviously a lot younger then, and I remember him saying, where would you like to sleep? Would you like to sleep in the house? Or would you like to sleep out in my workshop? I think that's where you're writing at that stage. And I desperately wanted to sleep out there because I'd seen some of the Tonga that were there, and I still firmly remember this was the time that I brought the Ponam, the original 2 blocks of Ponam to Barry. It was at the end of the journey, and I'd come through Hoogendyk. I met this wonderful woman, Sophia, who grilled me and scared the heck out of me to start with. I wondered what I was doing there. And so he gave me the stick, and he said, perhaps you'd like to go and hang that up for me in the shed. And I tried to actually sleep with this in my bed, and it was like holding on to it. I don't know, like the mains. I couldn't sleep with it. I set it up and put it up on top. Little did I know that these journeys would unfold. And so, 2 specific journeys that happened. One was to collect the Ponam, and prior to that was a vision that instilled in me and downloaded in me, is the only way I can say, the art of carving. I didn't know I could carve, I had no idea. But this journey took me to the top of Mahikarani in the North Island, where I spent the night. And something big happened in that area. And so I came back with the ability to carve. So I had the 2 journeys put together. I had the stone. I would unwrap the stone and I'd look at it, and I was in awe of it. Anybody that saw it was in awe of these pieces. I knew I could carve. I could carve bone. Carve the Ponam? No, I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for that. So it sat there, and it sat there, and it sat there. And then my grandfather died. A beautiful man, a man I loved very dearly. And I came back to Aotearoa. And that weekend of the funeral, I knew that there was somebody that I needed to meet. There was an elder, there was somebody, I didn't know who they were, but I knew there was somebody that I had to connect with. And so I spoke to my Auntie Jo, and she put me on to her friend, and I rang her. She said, I know who it is, here's your number. So I rang that number. Somebody I'd never met before. And this woman, this Māori woman, very powerful woman in her own right, said to me, who are the elders that sit around the fire and wait for you? I'd never, ever, ever, ever told anybody what I'd been seeing. Suddenly we weren't on the phone, we were in a whole different space. And the tears poured down my eyes. She said, I need to meet you, we'll meet tomorrow. So I picked her up. I picked her up from around Bays in Wellington. And I sat with this woman. The first thing she did, she looked at me, she said, you can't hide from me, Paul. Don't even try. What she had seen and what I'd been experiencing were 4 elders sitting around a fire, wrapped in blankets, and their fire had gone out. And they were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. When are you going to carve the stone? She said. I know I've got to do it. I said to her, yes you do. Make that commitment, you need to do this. So we did ceremony on the beach. This was a very powerful weekend, as you can understand, when my grandfather passed away. I walked around Oriental Bay. I'd made the decision, I'd made the commitment to do these journeys. I mean, like 25 years ago, approximately. The sun was rising over Oriental Bay. I looked at the sun and I heard the most exquisite voices I'd ever heard in my life. They weren't from this realm, they were from somewhere else. The colours in the sky were from somewhere else. There were thousands of voices, not just one or two. And I stood there and the tears poured down my face. It was one of the most ecstatic moments I've ever had in my life. In fact, a man came along to me and he patted me on the shoulder. He said, are you okay? I said, I'm absolutely fine. Thank you. So I came home and I got the first symbol. Something that I'd been seeing for a long time. And the location, which was up in Castle, Te Korongo. I knew that stone had to go there. We knew also that when that first stone went in, there was no turning back, that the journey had to be completed. When we travelled the trail, and we got to that place that many people have already spoken about, a place of incredible silence, a place from another realm, a place where you can touch the gods, you can feel the gods. I was walking in front, this Gemma and Paul were beside me. I leant on my stick. If my stick hadn't been there, I would have been on my knees. And again the tears poured down my face. It was the same energy. It was the same thing going on again. It was that old promise from way, way, way back. I don't even know how far back that I would do this journey. We would do the journey together, Phoebe and I. And finally we were there. That wonderful place. I've never seen that vision again of the old ones sitting around that empty fire. I know they're in another place and my sense is that they could move on then. Their job was done. And tomorrow we go up to where it all began, at dawn. And the ancient sounds will be heard, which is something that the Aboriginal people have said to us on our journey, that when the ancient sounds are heard once more, that the 12 tribes will be reawakened. Those stones are ready to be reawakened. The ones that have spread a net of love around the planet. And some of the most obscure and well-kept sacred sites around the world. And those stones will sing as they open. What happens after that is beyond me, and I just can't comprehend, and I have no attachment to it. What happens after that, I have no attachment to it. But I know it's a good thing. I see you people in front of me. I see the hearts that have been touched. I see my companions that have been on the trail and the magic that we've had. I see that there's a point in our lives when we can step up and we can become a part of the universe itself, where the universe itself will connect with us on a deep level and it will respond to who we truly are. Direct communication. And it's exquisite. Absolutely beautiful. And Barry, I would like to spend a minute to tell you how much I love you, my friend, and how much you mean to me, and how you've been there constantly. It's a very special thing. I hold you very dear in my heart, and Kushla, the two of you, very, very special. Thank you again, Vivian. Everybody, Jack, my God, that knowledge that you gave us at the beginning, it helped us to soar. The falcon was with us just about every day on that journey. And so that's enough from me, but once again, thank you people for your dance, and Helen for that beautiful prayer as well, and Joe for being here and doing the photography. And I know there's some Kai there, you know. So it's about all bringing it all together and open hearts. And Matt and Belinda, I can see you. But thank you for coming down. Thank you so much. So I hope I haven't missed anything. And that's it. And I'm turning it over to somebody else.